Okay, so today I've decided we're going to do the entire Freddy Krueger franchise. All 8 films in the Freddy Krueger universe. Now, I'm going to do a quick review, a quick rundown of the movie, recommends, not recommends. Try and keep it quick because it's 8 movies that we're dealing with. Um, First thing I want to say about the franchise, this is the only one of the top 3 Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street where adult Freddy is the killer in every one. He shows up in every one. Um, and we got Halloween 3, no Michael Myers. And of course, the original Friday the 13th. The only time Jason shows up is when he's a kid and he jumps out of the water. So, yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, not only the only one to have the same killer throughout, also, up until the remake in 2010, it's always been Robert Englund. So that's pretty cool. When you're a stickler for continuity like I am, that's awesome. So let's get started on our rundown of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So, for part one, which came out in '84, so did I, that was written and directed by Wes Craven. They call him a master of horror. I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean, yes, he created Freddy, so that's pretty awesome. But I'd really say the only other thing he's done of note is Scream, probably. I mean, if you really just want to get down to it. But anyway, he wrote, directed the first one. Stars Heather Langenkamp, Johnny Depp, Robert Englund, and John Saxon. And in the first one, Heather Langenkamp plays Nancy, and of course, her and her friends are all stalked by this man in their dreams that has knives for fingers. And of course, one by one, they're all picked off until only Nancy is left. And Nancy's got to figure out who this dream killer is and how to stop him. And of course, this is the movie where it's revealed that Freddy Krueger was a child killer. They leave it at child killer, but it's kind of a good thing. You really don't want to think too much about what Freddy did when he was a human. Let's just keep him at a child killer, and now he is killing the kids of the parents that burned him alive for being a child killer. So, he's taking revenge on those parents for killing him. So, and of course, Nancy finds out who he is and all this. And at one point, Nancy thinks she grabs his hat in the first one and wakes up, and the hat is in the real world. So, she comes up with a plan. She sets up all these traps for him, Home Alone style, and she pulls him into the real world where he can be hurt and killed. So she hits him with a couple traps, hurts him pretty bad, and then she just turns her back on Freddy and says she's not afraid, she don't believe in him, and he evaporates. And that's the first one. That's the classic Friday Nightmare on Elm Street. So I would say this is a definite recommend. I'm going to give this one 4 out of 5 stars. It is not my favorite. We'll get to my favorite. But it is definitely a solid first addition to an awesome series. And you got to see part one if you're going to see any of the others. Start with the beginning, you know, get all your info. And plus, it's really cool. There's only a couple effects that kind of fall dead now. The Freddy extending his arms in the alley, that's kind of a hokey effect at this point. But there's some cool stuff they do, and it's practical. No CGI in these, in the first ones anyway. Um, so yeah, 4 stars, recommend. On to part two. Part two came out in '85. It was directed by Jack Shoulder. I think I wrote that right. It was written by David Chaskin and Wes Craven. I'm sure Wes Craven's name is only on this because it's contractually obligated to be on there for his characters. It's well known Wes Craven didn't want a sequel, much like John Carpenter never wanted a Halloween sequel. This brings back, of course, Robert Englund as Freddy. What's crazy though is they did try and recast Freddy for this one. They thought, hey, it's makeup. Anybody under the makeup, it's Freddy. No. They found out real quick they needed Robert Englund, so brought him back. And Mark Patton shows up in this one, and Kim Years. Man, I need to write better. Anyway, this series is really strange because part two goes way off the rails. Like, they barely got their foot in the Freddy door, and they just start throwing everything but the kitchen sink at it. I mean, they've changed the rules, they've made up rules, they've broken rules. It's crazy. But what is cool, especially in 2020, I guess, is this movie doesn't really have a final girl, it has a final dude. Now that's odd for horror. Usually it's always some crazy dude stalking people until there's one girl left to defeat him. But in this one, he's after a dude. And then it gets a little even weirder because he's trying to use this dude to come into the real world. And at a point, he does come into the real world and he just jumps out of a swimming pool and just starts slashing at kids. And I mean, there's just teenagers everywhere, and then there's one Freddy, so it's not that scary. But that's where the line, "You're all my children now," come from. And they use that a lot in marketing, even though this is kind of the redheaded stepchild of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. This one I'd have to give maybe 3 stars. And I'd say watch it just because of the bonkersness of it. It's just, I mean, it's crazy. And, I mean, just watch it for the crazy, crazy stuff in it, like the gym teacher, how he gets taken out. It is just weird stuff going on in this movie, man. But yeah, 3 stars. Watch it. I mean, it's part two. If you like part one, which you should see the next step and just see how you can go from a classic to just off the wall crazy in just one movie. So give it a look. The next one is my favorite, part three, Dream Warriors. Awesome movie, awesome song. There's a song by Dokken, Dream Warriors. It's rockin' Dokken. So that's awesome. This one came out in '87. Wes actually has a story credit in this one, and that sounds about right, seeing that it's it's on par with the original, and to me, surpasses the original. Bruce Wagner also he has screenplay credit. Frank Darabont, you might know him because he's done a lot of Stephen King stuff. And Chuck Russell also has a screenplay credit. Langenkamp returns in this one. Of course, Robert Englund returns. Patricia Arquette. And I don't know if this was her first movie. I think in the credits it says introducing. I don't know. She might have done Prayer for a Roller Boy before that or something. I don't know. But she's in it and she's young. So Lawrence Fishburne shows up in this. A young Lawrence Fishburne. Like I said, for me, best of the series, bladed hands down. So, and this one you got a group of troubled kids in a mental hospital. Of course, they all have nightmares. And Heather Langenkamp returns to help the kids. And this is where Hypnosil is introduced. It'll come back in the series. Anyway, she shows up to help the kids, and they end up figuring out, he's coming after us in our dreams. We can become dream warriors. And they essentially become superheroes. And they each have different skills. And they go to fight Freddy and use, their skills. until it's down to 3, I believe. Even Heather Langenkamp dies in this one, so the original final girl taken out in this one. So, those who don't like Heather Langenkamp might want to watch this one. So, yeah, this, to me, like I said, best of the series. I'm going to give it 5 stars. Very creative deaths. One of them, dude's on a marionette made out of like his veins or muscles, and just some cool stuff in this one. Best of the series, give it a look. Definitely give this one a look. Part 4, it continues Patricia Arquette's character, but Patricia Arquette does not return. This one was in '88. Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street 4. 3 was Dream Warriors. This is Dream Master. Directed by Rennie Harlan. Anybody who watches movies knows that name. Wes has a writing credit on this one. William Katzwinkle has a writing credit. And Bryant Helgeland. Yeah. So, like I said, it continues on from 3 with Patricia Arquette's character. I believe her name was Alice. I'm almost sure of it. But, so her, Kincaid, and Joey lived from part 3. This is definitely not my favorite, definitely not my second favorite, probably not even my third favorite, but it's really good. Well, not really good. It's good. It's good. I like it. But they kill off Kincaid and Joey very quickly in this one. It would have been cool, especially to see Kincaid continue because he was so entertaining. Just this big personality. But they kill off him and Joey and give her new friends. Somehow in these movies, if a character returns, they lose all their friends in the last movie, but they start off this one with a whole new group of like bestest friends. It's weird. I have like 2 friends, so I don't know how that happens. Anyway, so of course, once again, Freddy's after Alice, and he's killing everybody that he can. What I really like about this one is Alice has a brother. If I'm remembering correctly, it's been a while since I watched these, but I have seen them all. Believe me. Anyway, I believe it's, yeah, Alice has a brother who does like kung fu. You know what? Yeah, okay, whatever. I might be wrong about who's who, but you get the gist. Anyway, in this one, when people die, somehow Alice gets their abilities. That makes her the Dream Master. So when her brother dies, she can do like martial arts and other stuff. Very cool. I like the showdown between her and Freddy. This one I'm going to give 4 stars. So, well known, because then that would be like saying it's as good as the original, people. I'll give it 3.5. 3.5 stars. I say watch it. I'd say if you're going to skip any this far, watch 1, 3, and 4. If you're going to leave any of those out, leave 2 out. But definitely give 4 a watch. 4, it's good. I like it. Here's where Friday. Why do I keep saying Friday the 13th? This is where Nightmare on Elm Street kind of shits the bed. Part 5. Dream Child. So, Wes, of course, has a writing credit, but it's only for characters. Even he wouldn't put his name on this garbage. John Stupler, Craig Spector, Leslie Boehm, and some other people have writing credits. I can't read my writing. I suck at writing. Robert Englund returns. Lisa Wilcox. I think she's returning from 4. Who knows, man? But it's the same character. It's Alice. And in this one, Alice is pregnant. Freddy is using the dreams of her child to do shit that I don't understand. And he's trying to get reborn, but why? This is what I never got. Freddy Krueger was a killer when he was alive, and he got burned to death, and it hurt like shit, and it killed him. Now he is this eternal dream being that's killing people willy-nilly. No limitations in dreams. None. Zero. Why would he want to be born and be a kid and grow up and just be normal again? He's freaking crazy. He wants to kill people, and he's got the best way to do it. Everybody has to sleep. This is damn ridiculous, is what this is. Anyway, there's a couple good effects in this. There's some things to watch it for. But on the whole, on the whole, it's shitty. It's horrible. Skip this one. I'm going to give it 2 stars. Just 2. You can cross that one off your list. If you're going to skip another one, skip 5. Shit storm. Shit sandwich. The next one we have came out in 91. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Now, we know from Friday the 13th, final chapter, final never means final. We're on number 6, people. We got 8 movies. But I digress. This one was directed by Rachel Talalay. I like that name, Talalay. Wes Craven has a writing credit. I'm gonna say characters, probably. And Michael DeLuca has a screenplay credit. Of course, Robert Englund is back. And got Lisa Zane and Breckin Meyer. This one has a slew of cameos. We got Tom Arnold and Roseanne Barr in the craziest cameos you would ever expect. They do not fit into a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but their scene's fun nonetheless. So then we have Johnny Depp returning from the original to do a dream sequence. Drugs are bad ad with this is, frying pan and an egg, and this is your brain on drugs, and looks like a frying pan and some eggs to me, So that was pretty cool. And then as Freddy's father, one shows Freddy as like a teen, is Alice Cooper. That's pretty cool. So in this one, I think people have forgotten Freddy and blah blah blah, and he wants this group of people to get out and get the word out. Every town has an Elm Street. And so he wants them to believe in him or remember him, start dreaming about him. I think he wants them to take him out of Springwood, but that's goofy. And of course, there's this talk of Freddy Krueger had a child. And the movie wants you to believe it's this dude, John Doe, don't know his name, don't know where he came from. But we all know that the main girl is his kid, even though the timeline doesn't make a lot of sense. But once we find out John Doe isn't Freddy's kid, they pretty soon explain that she is, and she watched Freddy kill her mom, and she didn't tell, and she forgot. So, in this one, what was cool about this one is the final, I think 15 minutes of the movie or something, part of it's 3D. When she's about to enter Freddy's mind in this dream world, she puts on 3D glasses, and that tells you to put on your 3D glasses. So, they did some cool stuff there. I remember when this came out and hit theaters, I think there was a Freddy telephone number you could call and do some stuff, and there was some weird thing at the theaters. I don't know if it had to do with Freddy, but it was at that time where there was a movie or something where you had a remote and it's kind of choose your own adventure or something. Maybe I'm dreaming. I don't know, but I remember some crazy crap going on in 91 when Freddy's Dead came out. But this one, if 3's my favorite, One would probably be my second favorite. Another one coming up is going to be my third favorite, but Freddy is Dead is probably my fourth favorite in the series of just Freddy films. You know, Freddy alone. Um, yeah, and this one, yeah. So, and then this one, after she goes into his mind and all this, you got this weird crap about when he was getting burned alive. These three demonic sperm looking tentacle tadpole creatures go in him and they're dream demons. And that's what makes Freddy the dream demon, eternal, blah, blah, blah. And of course, Freddy's dead. We got to go back to the orig. She pulls him out of the dream. And in this nut house, okay, that's not PC. In this mental institute, I've been in a mental institute, so believe me, I'm not judging. Had to stay a week. So, um, somehow in this mental institute, they have all these weapons, pipe bombs and stuff, and ninja stars and all kind of shit, which come in handy when you're fighting a dream demon. So, of course, the daughter has to fight Freddy along with the other girl that's like Ronda Rousey before Ronda Rousey. She's just angsty and likes to fight. But she, her dreams reveal she had a real messed up past, so we get it. And of course, the daughter takes Freddy out because, after all, it's called Freddy's Dead. Do you think he's going to live through it? And, they tack him to the wall with some throwing stars and such. Then she shoves a pipe bomb in his stomach, and Freddy goes out with one line: "Kids." The dream demons flash in 3D. They're right at your face. Pretty cool, actually. Even though the little demons themselves are kind of shitty. But yeah, like I said, this is probably my fourth favorite in the series. Really enjoy this one. If I ever just feel like throwing on a random Friday, fuck, Nightmare on Elm Street, then I throw in this one because I know everything that happens in it, so I can look up from time to time. I can miss parts, and I won't be lost. Um, so definitely recommend. I am going to give this one 4 stars. Not as good as the original, but I have as much fun with it. And a lot of people hate on it, but I'm okay with when people hate on something that I dig because I would rather be the one that digs it than the one that has another thing out there they hate. So I'm cool with it. Check this one out. Definitely. Next up is 94. This one is my third favorite. Some days it might be my second favorite, being 3, New Nightmare, and then the original. Love New Nightmare. People hate it, but you can definitely see the roots of what will become Scream in this. It's very self-referential. It's very meta. It's very postmodern. But of course, this was the one that brought back Wes Craven after all the movies called Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Like I said, it came out in '94. Wes Craven is the writer and director. You got Heather Langenkamp back. She can come back, and I'll tell you why when I tell you the story. We know she died in 3. She's back, people. And they didn't retcon. They didn't cheat. They didn't, she was in a coma. None of that. Legit, she's back. Miko Hughes plays her son. Horror fans will know Miko Hughes as the creepy kid Gage in Pet Cemetery. And of course, Robert Englund is back. New Nightmare. This one's cool to me because Robert Englund is himself in the movie. Heather Langenkamp is playing herself in the movie. The plot of this one is Freddy Krueger, some demon, has decided they're going to come into the real world and take the form of Freddy Krueger. A demon that's like attached to storytelling, and they find a story that they like that has stopped or gotten watered down. and they decide to take that form and come into the real world. And when the demon did, Wes Craven started writing another script. But as he's writing the script, things are really happening. Freddy's in the real world. Freddy's killing real people, including Heather Langenkamp's husband, who is a special effects person working on a Freddy movie in the movie, which is odd because Heather Langenkamp was really married to a special effects person that did work with Wes Craven, or at the very least did work on a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Um, so he's writing the script. Things are really happening. People are really dying. And of course, Heather Langenkamp has to take out Freddy. Now, in '94, I was 10 years old, probably 9 years old because I'm born in December. The scariest thing about this movie to me, when you're watching the credits come down the screen, this is spooky when you're a kid. The credits say Heather Langenkamp as herself, Robert Englund as himself, Freddy Krueger as himself. Ooh. So that was pretty cool. The look of Freddy in this one I really like. They've changed the makeup just a little, just enough, but it made him a little more sinister, I think, in his outfit. He's still got the sweater, but he's got like a different hat, kind of long, almost Western duster type overcoat in some scenes, leather pants. You never want to see Robert Englund in leather pants, but Freddy, Freddy looks cool in this one. I like it. A lot of cool kills. I like the take they took on the story. Let's just not do another nightmare movie. Let's get meta with it. Let's reference ourselves. Let's put it in the real world. Let's do something new. So like I said, my third favorite in the series. I'm gonna give this one 4.5. I really dig this one. So recommend it. Watch it. Check it out. This is definitely one people either really love or really hate. And a lot of people feel bad for Heather Langenkamp because this movie does really make it look like she has no life. The only people she talks to are people from the Nightmare series. Like, she even talks to John Saxon, who played her dad in the original. I mean, because she's playing herself, I never thought about it until I heard a review where they're like, so she only talks to Wes Craven and John Saxon and a babysitter and whoever's prank calling her. So yeah, it kind of makes her look bad, but come on, people. It gave her a paycheck. I mean, what else has she done? And she's not horrible in this, and it's cool to have Nancy back. Yeah, so, yeah, check this one out. This takes us to 2003. So we went from '94 all the way to 2003. No Freddy. Freddy free. Yeah, even Freddy's Nightmares, the TV series, was definitely over by all this. In 2003, we get two titans coming together, duking it out for who is the better slasher. Freddy versus Jason. I don't really hear a lot of hate for this one, and I think that's well earned. This was directed by Ronnie Yu, who had already dipped his toe deep into horror by making my favorite Chucky movie, Bride of Chucky. To me, Bride of Chucky got the formula right. Humor, because it's dolls killing people, and horror. It was pretty cool. So I think Ronnie Yu has a good sensibility when it comes to American horror, which is awesome. But in Freddy vs. Jason, once again, people have forgotten Freddy. They're not scared of him. When you're not scared of Freddy and you're not dreaming of him, he can't kill you. Because all the kids that knew of Freddy, they've shipped them out of town to another mental hospital and they're taking Hypnosil, which makes you not dream. But Freddy's got a plan. Freddy says, I'm going to resurrect Jason, send him to Springwood. He'll kill people. They'll think it's me. They'll start talking, they'll start remembering, they'll start dreaming, and I'll start killing. So that's what he does. He brings Jason back from the dead, sends him to Springwood. Jason starts killing left and right. Sadly, this is not a returning Jason. This isn't Kane Hodder or anybody that's played Jason in the past. A lot of people's favorite Jason is Kane Hodder. Mine's not. Mine's the guy that played him in the final chapter. I forget his name, but he's just a cool dude. This one stars Monica Keena, Jason Ritter, Kelly Rowland. But it's also got the Ginger Snaps girl. I can't remember her name right off the bat, but I like her. She's awesome. So yeah, he resurrects Jason. Jason starts killing. Problem is, when Freddy goes to kill in the dream, Jason stabs the girl in real life. She disappears from the dream. Freddy can't get his kill. He's like, dude, I brought you back to make them scared of me so I can kill. You're killing everybody. This has got to stop. So Freddy and Jason continue to stalk and kill people until the kids have the idea, once again, we'll bring Freddy into the real world, we'll knock out Jason, inject him with something, make him sleep, take Jason to Crystal Lake, pull Freddy out of the dream, let them duke it out. We don't need to mess with them. Let them kill each other. They're the crazy, creepy, supernatural slashers, and at the worst, we'll only have to deal with one once the fight's over. So they pull out Freddy. They take Jason to Crystal Lake. During all this, Kelly Rowland gets taken out. Pretty cool. And then Freddy and Jason start going at it like WWE style. This is the fight you wanted. Ronnie Yu does not disappoint. They're going at it. They're fighting. Freddy's cutting the nozzle off like these tanks. They're shooting at Jason. At one point, Jason gets to use the glove against Freddy. Freddy gets to use the machete against Jason. It's awesome. It's an all-out brawl. Everything you wanted. All those years when you're thinking and hearing about Freddy versus Jason, you finally get it, and the fight is what you wanted. Ronnie Yu and all the writers and stuff are smart. They go, people love Jason, people love Freddy, people love Freddy and Jason. We can't make an absolute clear winner. They do it smart. They make it where you can make the argument for either one of one. Or you can make the argument as a tie, but every fan is satisfied because neither one of their boys got bitched out. They both showed up, showed out, and fought their hardest. This movie, I'm gonna put it in a different category because it's two icons coming together, duking it out. It's not a Friday the 13th movie. It's not a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It's both, and I think both equally. They really do that well. Where your Jason fans are gonna get what they want, your Freddy fans are gonna get what they want. The people that sympathize with the victims, they'll get mostly what they wanted. There's a couple bad performances, but that's all good. Because I'm putting this in a whole separate category because it's not really a Nightmare on Elm Street only film, I'm giving this bad boy 5 stars. I have a lot of fun with Freddy vs. Jason. You will too if you like any of the Fridays or the Nightmare series. Watch this one. And if you've only seen a couple Nightmares here and there, a couple Fridays here and there, just watch this one. I mean, eventually watch the others. Don't be shitty, but definitely watch Freddy vs. Jason. You know, it's fun. It's just fun. It's one of those where the effects are good, the kills are good. It's not really going to be so gory it offends anybody if they're a horror fan. So, like, even if you got like a teen and you're easing them into horror, You could probably show them this one before a lot of the actual films in either of the series. So yeah, give this one a look, man. This one's great. Now on to the probably most controversial of all the Nightmare on Elm Street films. People either love it or hate it. And if you love it, the people that hate it tell you you're crazy. And if you love it, you're like, dude, I get you hate it, but I love it. And again, I like to be the one on the I love it side. Because then there's another thing I get to watch and enjoy, while the latter is, oh man, it sucks. I'm watching a bitch. So yeah, the remake, I like it. I like it. My friend Jamie Sammons likes it. So yeah. Um, this one came out in 2010, directed by Samuel Bayer. I can't read my writing, people. Writer Wesley Stark or something. God, I write shitty. Um, we got Jackie Earl Haley playing Freddy in this one. The only time we get a non Robert Englund Freddy, unless it's the Alice Cooper flashback. Another character played young Freddy. But Killer Freddy has always been Robert Englund up to this point. I was excited when I heard Jackie Earle Haley. The man can act. He has a movie called Little Children, if you're a fan of dramas. Plays a creepy dude in that, and a pervert, which is good for Freddy because child killer, and in this one they do go to that area that they avoided in the original series. We'll get into it. It's got Rooney Mara. I was excited to hear that name because I am a big fan of the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series of books, the foreign movies, and the American movies. Rooney Mara played Elizabeth Salander in the American remake of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. So I'm like, dude, I'm there. Even though I prefer Noomi Rapace in the original foreign versions, Rooney Mara killed it as Elizabeth. She was great. So I was glad to see her here. We have Kellen Lutz in this. I think he was from Twilight. But it's also got that dude that gets killed in Jennifer's Body, and the dude that gets killed in Red State, and the dude that gets killed in The Walking Dead. He gets killed in everything. But does he get killed in this one? We'll see. It also has Clancy Brown. Most people know him from Highlander or Shawshank Redemption. Some people know him from Pet Sematary 2, which is kind of a fun, silly sequel to Pet Sematary. So in this one, we basically have the same story as the original, but again, they kind of like in the first one, you see the blonde girl, she's pretty, you're like, ooh, she's gonna be the main character. No, she gets, and then you get Funky Nancy the rest of the movie. Funky. Anyway, in this one, they do the same thing. You got a blonde, you got a dude, you got this and that. You don't know who's going to be the main character. I do because I know Rooney Mara and I watch the commercials, trailers, and so of course it starts out with one of the coolest kills in the Nightmare series. We start out in a diner. Dude's going in and out of dreams, so the diner keeps changing. Then all of a sudden, Freddy's there, even though yeah, he's got the knives. He cuts dude's throat. The people that are there see dude holding a knife to his throat and cutting his own throat. Great way to start a Nightmare movie. Great kill. Anyway, so after that, it goes pretty much to the original story. Dude stalking Nancy. Dude stalking everybody. Nancy knows who is Freddy. Who is Freddy? We got to find out who Freddy is. They start asking questions. Start looking online because that's something we didn't have in '84, the internet. They start giving things a goog. They see the people that left Springwood are dying in their sleep. This movie introduces a cool thing called micronaps. Sounds stupid, but it's real, people. If you stay up long enough, your body will make you go to sleep because you can't live without sleep. And eventually, if you stay up too long, you'll go in sort of a coma. So Nancy and all these and the other dude that's alive to help her because everybody else got killed. It did. They're trying to find out who Freddy is, and they're trying to stay awake. Dude's taking stuff to stay awake. Nancy don't want to take it. I think she eventually does, but whatevs. Um, but they find out that the parents killed Freddy because he was being a pervert with their children. And a lot of people don't like this, and they're like, they shouldn't have went there. Horror movies shouldn't go there. Shut up. It's art. It's a movie. It's not like a Serbian film where they show something I'm not even going to describe here, and I won't watch the movie. Not because I'm offended, I just don't want to see it. So the cool to me, and I think to Jamie, I know she likes the movie, but I'm pretty sure she likes this element of it. I don't want to speak for her because she's way smarter than I am. But the cool thing to me about this movie is the kids are like, we were only kids. What if we were lying? And it gets you to thinking, maybe he's getting revenge because they killed an innocent dude. Like these kids just said, hey, he molested us. And through a technicality, he didn't go to jail. And the parents said, huh, well, we'll take him out and we'll just never talk about it. And like the whole town of grown-ups kept it hush hush. So for most of the movie, you're like, okay, so they killed Freddy. He was innocent. And now he's getting revenge. That's cool to me. I mean, that gives a little more to the story. I mean, if you're already going to go into child killing and creepiness, just go for it. It's a movie, people. It's a movie. But I think in a dream, Nancy sees the name of the daycare they went to. I believe it's called Badham, but when you see the sign, it's like bad ham. And if you've ever eaten bad ham, you know that's no good. So her and dude go to the the daycare, whatever you call it, preschool, and somehow, all right, I'll give the people that hate this movie somehow because this is kind of stupid. Nobody found Freddy's lair in a preschool. Like he's got a cave. I guess you could say, well, Nancy went in there. Maybe she knew where it was, but Nancy don't remember. None of these kids even remember they went to preschool together. So her and dude go into his cave and they find pictures. And the pictures confirm Freddy was not falsely convicted. You know, thank God they don't show you the pictures. They're not trying to go there. They're not trying to be. I mean, the word offensive, I've never been offended. And I get, I get that some people are and why I'm not. We don't have to go into all that. I know why I don't get offended. But the movie didn't, try and show anything provocative of children, 'cause ew. But she looks at the pictures. It's her and the other kids in the pictures. Freddy wasn't innocent. So now they've got to stop him. He was killing kids then or touching kids then. He's killing people now. Gots to get rid of Freddy Krueger. Gots to. So earlier in their little trip to this preschool, dude went to get his, stay awake medicine, and Nancy was going in and out of her micro naps, and Freddy's in the store slashing at her. She pulls a piece of a sweater out, off of him. It comes out of her dream. They're going to bring him out of the dream again, people. But it is a remake of the original, so they get, they're doing a remake. They can copy the original. But we find out Freddy's plan is creepy as shit. His plan was to make Nancy keep herself up so long that she'll go into that coma, and Freddy will have so much time to do things. Yeah. That's his plan, not her plan. Her plan is, dude, you sit over there, you watch me. When I've got Freddy, you wake me up. Don't you go to sleep. Shit, boy. Wake me up. So she goes into the dream. She grabs Freddy, brings him out. Here's the only downside to the movie for me. And it's been an issue in earlier scenes. Jackie Earle Haley is a great actor. Great actor. But he's a little dude. And he can't help that. And I wouldn't want him to CGI anything to make him bigger and look weird. They've changed his makeup to look like an actual burn victim. Kind of hinders his mouth and the way he talks too, and that takes a little bit away from how good Jackie Earle Haley is as an actor. But I guess it adds a little realism because he looks like a burn victim. Even though Jackie Earle does good at keeping Freddy creepy again. I mean, there's a scene where somebody's screaming. He's like, "Why are you screaming? I haven't even cut you yet." That's a good line. But he's a little guy. So when they pull him out of the dream, it's almost like two bigger kids beating up an old man, an old burned man. But the movie's earned it at this point. I've liked the whole movie. This is how it's got to go. If you want to get rid of Freddy, you got to bring him into the real world. They do. They fight him, and then they get like the arm off a paper cutter, exit wound style, and cut his throat, nearly decapitating him. Cops show up. There's no body. Leaving it open for the sequel. Sadly, we never got because I did want to see. I did want to see Jackie Earle Haley return as Freddy. I really did. Maybe they could have put him on like a milk crate, like they do Tom Cruise or something, make him look taller. I mean, it is a dream world. They could have done something to make him more formidable. And even though I'm not a fan of CGI, I heard one time they were going to do a Freddy movie where, like, Robert Englund might voice him or something, but no actor was going to play Freddy. It was going to be an entirely CGI dream world and Freddy. And I'm against CGI. I love practical effects. But I'd go see that just because it's a dream world, and in all the movies, the dream world is kind of the boiler room that I guess they burn him alive in or he worked in. And they never really explain why a boiler room. And this one, I guess they kind of do because he was in a factory when he got burned. So I guess finally you're like, that's why they always showed up in a boiler room. Which, I don't know about you, I've never been in a boiler room in a dream. So I think it'd be cool for somebody to do just an original take on Freddy. Leave the glove. We all love the glove. But do some cool stuff, man. Make some real dream imagery and just warp the worlds or something. Just make it real visually interesting. But that's neither here nor there. That has nothing to do with this remake. So they take out Freddy. Cops don't find Freddy's body. Freddy, where is he? We don't know. I guess we'll never know. This was in 2010. It's 2020 now. You know, Earl Haley's definitely younger than Robert Englund. But, he's 10 years older than he was when he made this. I just don't see him making a sequel to this one. I've heard there's going to be another one bringing back Robert Englund. I'm there for that. I will always go see these movies. Even if they come out with something as shitty as The Dream Child, I'll go see it. It's Freddy. Gotta support Freddy. Plus he's the only slasher that talks, so he's always got quips, welcome to prime time, bitch. So, this movie, I really do like it. I would say overall it's not as good as the original, but in some ways to me it's a little better. The story is a little better. I definitely won't give it 5 stars like I do the original, but I am gonna give it 4 stars because I do really like it. I do. I like the story. I like Jackie Earle Haley, even though he's short and skinny. I like Rooney Mara in it, not as much as I do as Elizabeth Salander, but I like it. And the dude that's helping her, I can't remember his name right now. I don't know why I didn't write it down. I don't think he's Kellen Lutz. I think Kellen Lutz is the guy from one of the Twilight movies, or all of them, or something. I've heard he's from Twilight. And I'm not saying that to say I haven't seen Twilight. I got caught up in that hype too, and I watched all that crap. Um, but the dude that's with her is the final dude. I like him. He's been in horror things mainly. I've only seen him in horror. So yeah, I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I'm gonna say watch it. You might hate it like most people do, but you might be in the minority. You might love it, and ain't it always good to find one more thing you love? So watch it. My thoughts overall about the Nightmare series. I'd say there's way more hits than misses. I'd say keeping Robert Englund throughout up until the remake is a big plus. Every movie featuring Freddy as the killer, big plus. I, I would say I know it has more good ones than the Halloween series, even though Halloween 1 to me is a way better movie than Nightmare on Elm Street 1 or 3 or any of them. Halloween has a lot of big misses. You got 3, which I enjoy 3, but no Michael Myers, no ties to the others. 4, I do enjoy, but they had to stick to the Laurie was Michael's sister. So now he's got to go after his niece because Jamie Lee Curtis didn't come back. So them painting themselves into a corner, he kills family, really kind of screwed up a lot of the Halloween movies. 5 is unwatchable. I'll go through all these one day, one by one. 5 is unwatchable. 6 is terrible. 6 brings in a cult, and they're trying to make Michael get his niece pregnant. I mean, it's like a cult controls Michael. Who wants your slasher controlled by a secret society? I love H2O. Resurrection sucks except for like the first 10 minutes when Laurie Strode comes back to die. But even the way she dies is kind of stupid. But you'll watch anything to see Laurie Strode and Michael together. And then, of course, the 2000. Well, you got 2 Rob Zombies. I like one of them. And then you got the 2018, I believe, sequel to the original. I loved it. Maybe not the way I would have written the story, but hey, I don't get paid to write Halloween movies. I dug it. Michael's back. Laurie's back. They're not related. Michael's killing. Laurie's badass. Boom, boom, bam. Good movie. But, okay, Friday the 13th. I'd say Nightmare and Friday probably have the same batting average. There's some really good ones. There's a couple shitty ones, but mainly they hold up. And other than the original, all the rest of them are Jason. Might be different people playing Jason, but they all give it their damnedest. So, So I wouldn't call Nightmare the best of the franchises, but I'd say it's tied with Friday with how many are good, at least. And that's probably why Freddy versus Jason. But yeah, so that is the entire Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger universe, other than Freddy's Nightmares TV show. I'm not gonna get into it. Yeah, so I think I only said stay away from maybe 1 or 2. So overall, good series. Buy the box set. You only get a couple stinkers. Watch them. It's Halloween. It's October. It's going to be Halloween, people. You want horror? You got it. Friday, not Friday. Nightmare. Thank you so much for tuning into this. I know it's long, but I wanted to give y'all something long. And since this is movie reviews, if you're driving, if you're cleaning, if you're working, not around people, and you just want a little entertainment while you're doing these things, click play and don't look. I mean, you'll only miss me playing with this glove that I sadly opened. If you know me, I hate opening things. I like to keep them in the package. I like to keep them pristine. But I wanted to do something different in this video for you people, because you watch, you subscribe, you like, you share, you make me happy. I wanted to do something for y'all, so I compromised the original packaging of my Freddy glove just to have a little token of Freddy for the reviews. And I gotta tell you, this is a lot of fun. I'm glad I opened it. I've been wanting to open it. You guys really gave me the reason to open it. So, yeah. So win-win. Um, so that is my review of every Nightmare on Elm Street film. Even the ones not called Nightmare, the one called like, New Nightmare, Freddy's Dead, Jason or Freddy vs. Jason. But that's every movie of Freddy Krueger. I want to thank you for tuning in. Please do me a favor, like, comment, share, and if you haven't, please subscribe to my channel. That makes me so happy. I will be joining you again tomorrow because I'm doing videos every day, people. Everyday entertainment. Thank you so much. Goodbye.